Hi everyone, welcome to Spill the Tea Radio, where we interview awesome singers-songwriters and those who influence their lives. Spill the Tea Radio explores the journey, creativity, and inspiration behind the songs. My next guest is a singer-songwriter, producer, and multi-instrumentalist from Kitchener, Ontario. Presently, she is a student at Wilfrid Laurier University studying music therapy. She is also a gigging musician and a songwriter and producer with the Lullaby Project, a social justice-based organization working with at-risk mothers to write and record personal lullabies for their babies. You can find her busking frequently in the KW area. So, let's spill the tea with Amanda Braam. Welcome, Amanda.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Well, Amanda, there's so much for us to chat about in this very short interview. I know you've got so much stuff going on. You're going to have to come back and chat again. Let's talk about what you're doing at school, because I find this so interesting. I've interviewed another couple of artists that work in either the science field or the medical field. Shreya Jha, who is a doctor and she's fourth year now. She is studying the effects of music as it relates to dementia. So I'm always interested to find out about how music plays into our emotions, our brain paths, and our physical being. So help us understand what you are studying at university, and how that plays into our everyday life.
Absolutely. So I'm studying at Wilfrid Laurier University right now. I'm in my third year in the Bachelor of Music Therapy program there. I spent my first 2 years studying community music, and I do a lot of work in and around the community for various organizations. And now I'm kind of taking what I've learned through my experiences in the community and applying it to music therapy, which is a lot more about, all like what you were saying with like all the science stuff and how music influences the brain. And we work a lot in my classes right now. I'm doing a placement in a developmental education classroom in a high school. So we're working with kids that have various types of special needs, and we get to make music with them and hear their beautiful voices, and we get to really see their creativity shine. And it's a very beautiful thing when you're able to use music specifically as a medium to kind of get past whatever barriers are there and be able to connect one-on-one with people.
So the music therapy that you're using at the placement, or in general when you get out there and are able to apply this outside of university, what kind of development challenges are we talking about? Are we talking about children that are on the autism spectrum? Are we talking about children that maybe slow learners, or they struggle with Tourette's? I mean, what are we talking about?
Yeah, of course. So in my placement specifically, I'm working with high schoolers who have both physical and cognitive delays from development. So most of, or all of our participants are nonverbal, and they're all wheelchair users as well. So thinking of music from that perspective, where it's really like we have to stretch our creativity a little bit, which is really impactful both for them and for us as musicians as well. We're being able to communicate with people who are nonverbal using music, which obviously is a very, auditory-based medium. It's interesting, and it's really phenomenal getting to see these students who will not be able to communicate with you, or might use nonverbal things like looking up to say hi, or being able to smile, or being able to frown. Hearing them, start to sing a little bit, hearing them get to vocalize, or even getting to like hold a shaker in their hand and shake the shaker to work on, fine motor skills and more general motor skills, with being able to maybe start to lift your hands above your head a little bit and stuff like that. We're working really with the entire body, as well as with the mind and emotions, and working on, smiling to be happy and frowning to be sad, and, scrunching your face if you're angry, and all those types of things.
I would imagine also this would come into play with people that have brain injury. I think about another artist that talks about working with people that have dementia, not Sharia, but another artist that works with people that have dementia, and how when they're playing a song that the person recognizes, they might not recognize the individual in front of them, but they recognize the song and they could actually sing the song all the way through, although they may not recognize their own child that is playing the song along with them. How does that work? Have we figured out why that happens?
Yeah, that's a great point. That's definitely what got me into music therapy in the first place, was visiting my grandma in her nursing home, and she had Alzheimer's, and I was just a kid, probably 12 or 13, and I used to bring, like a ukulele or play the piano that was there and just play songs for her that she'd recognize, and she'd be able to sing along with all of the songs. And I was like, wow, like I've got to figure out how that works. I've got to get more into this, because that in my brain it makes no sense. And what's interesting about like the field of music therapy is that it's been around for longer than people think, but it's really only gaining traction and kind of actual recognition in society and in the medical field relatively recently. So there's a lot of research that's still being done in the field, which is really, really interesting. But in terms of being able to, sing a song, but not being able to, recognize your child, it just does it. Yeah, it deals with different kind of neural pathways in the brain, where when you're doing music, it's more of a kind of creative, kind of right brain, even though it happens all throughout the brain, but right brain type of activity. And it engages both like your motor pathways if you're playing an instrument or if you're singing, as well as like a lot of stuff with your hippocampus and with kind of the surrounding tissue, as well as music is very, very emotionally strong. Mm-hmm. And so those emotions are typically tied with memories. And when you feel those emotions and when you're able to start, singing the song or shaking along to the song, it's because a lot of your brain is kind of interconnected in lots of different ways. It's able to kind of awaken those parts that might, be dealing with like the effects of Alzheimer's, with like plaques and tangles in your brain that make it more difficult to access the memories that you used to be able to access.
Let's talk about the Lullaby Project that you're involved with. This is extremely intriguing to me, where you're working with at-risk mothers to write lullabies that are, as I understand it, specifically written for their particular child. So how did you get involved with this project, and what's it like going through that with a mom that may be coming out of a very abusive relationship and has a child, and now it's becoming very personal?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, this is one of my favorite topics to talk about. It just makes me so happy. So I started getting involved in the Lullaby Project because I volunteered with the Kitchener Public Library when I was in high school. I was a musician in residence there. And through that, I met one of the leading ladies in the project, Samantha Ty, and she knew that I was interested in writing songs. And she was like, "Hey, Amanda, do you want to come and help me out with this project?" And I was like, absolutely, especially since I was already interested in music therapy and all that. It just seemed like the perfect opportunity. And so, yeah, from there, we work with at-risk mothers in the community. We are partnered with Grand Valley Institution for Women, which is a federal prison in Kitchener, as well as Camino Wellbeing and Mental Health, which is kind of like a shelter / like safe space for younger moms and at-risk moms in Waterloo. And yeah, we'll go there and we'll conduct 3 sessions. And through that session, we will, get to know our participants and kind of, we'll write the songs together, we'll hear what they have to say, and then we will record the songs with them as well. And then by the end of the project, we have a fully produced recorded song that they have forever, and they can share with their families, with their loved ones, with their children, child, all of that. And it's really a phenomenal thing when you get to work with, especially when you're working with at-risk mothers and you get to hear their stories. They teach me just as much as I teach them about music, where it's like I can tell them all I want about, a verse and a chorus and chords, but they open up your mind because they've experienced things that I have not experienced. And being able to learn from them is really, really a phenomenal thing. And many of them are, a little bit hesitant at first to delve into music because, especially the process of songwriting, it seems very intimidating for a lot of people because they're like, oh, that's just for songwriters. Songwriters are the people that songwrite. Me, I can't do that. And being able to kind of dismantle those preconceived notions in their heads that, they're just a mom, or they're just, incarcerated. They're just this, they're just that. And they couldn't possibly be musical or be creative. They get to realize that everybody internally has that innate musicality, whether it starts from just your heartbeat, that's a rhythm right there. And once you have that, you just have to, let yourself do it. And then they'll be surprised with how amazing the results are.
So this has to be therapeutic for the individual that you're working with as well, to discover maybe for the first time in their life that they do have worth and they do have purpose and they do have creativity within themselves. As you work through the project, do you see the individuals start to blossom and develop themselves?
Absolutely, yeah. From the beginning of the project, typically, we start off a little bit quieter, a little bit more subdued, not super willing to, give lyrical ideas, or maybe they're very scared to sing along. And by the end of the project, people are suggesting ideas, people are giving advice, people are singing, which is really, really beautiful. Getting to, we don't want to force anybody, and if somebody doesn't want to sing, obviously we're not going to push them. But as they get more comfortable with the idea that, hey, maybe I am a musician, maybe I can do this, and just getting to try it out, that is really a phenomenal thing. And you get to see, just the self-esteem kind of up and up and up, and them get more and more confident in their own abilities and kind of expanding their identity beyond whatever identities have been just kind of forced upon them by society. It's really phenomenal.
Well, let's get into one of the songs that Amanda wrote.
Of course.
This song is from Amanda's second album titled Paper Cranes, which was released in April of 2024. Let's take a listen to singer-songwriter Amanda Braam and her song Deep Sea Corals.
Sometimes I want to tell her about the evening when I left my lucky necklace in her backyard, so I jumped the fence, 'cause she wasn't home to get it. take. She's my and I'm living in a ecosystem, swimming with the current, swept in by the undertow. Then I met her 10,000 feet below.
That was Deep Sea Corals by Amanda Braam. Amanda, tell us, what is that song about and what was the inspiration to write it?
So that song started off with inspiration from my childhood best friend. We grew up on the same street together, right across the road, and we hang out like all the time. And we have been friends since we were probably in grade 1, and we've watched each other grow up, and we've watched each other go through a lot of like hardships through life, and we've been there to support each other through the entire thing. And the song just kind of recounts those childhood memories and kind of explores like the melancholy, I guess, of watching each other get older and having to go through hard things, but also coming out on the other side a lot stronger than you were before.
Amanda, how do people find out more about you and your music? What's the website, socials, and the streaming platforms?
Yes, absolutely. So I am Amanda Braam on all streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, whatever your favorite thing is. And I am at Amanda Braam Music on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok as well. And yeah, I'm most active on Instagram, so that is where I would go to check out what I'm up to recently.
We have been in conversation with Amanda Braam. Amanda, thanks for being with us.
Thanks so much for having me, David. It's been amazing.
In her back